Okay, so like I was saying before, that got cut off. This polynomial for number 11 is cubic. That to me means degree of 3. It also tells me that the two ends should be doing opposite things. It has one real 0, so I mark that by putting 1 point on the x-axis. And one relative max. So that means that I have to have this sort of like curve, a turn, that gets my graph to have a maximum here. So since that's a relative max, what I'm going to do is I want to make sure I go through this point. I want the two ends to be doing opposite things. So if I'm going to go through this point, hold on, let me open this up a little bit so it makes it a little bit easier. If I'm going to have a maximum like this and go through this point, I can't have another turn here. So I was identified that since it's cubic, I can have at most 2 turns. I can't have another turn here, sending this back in the upward direction, because if I were to do that, then this graph would have actually end up having 3 x-intercepts. Okay, so what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to allow this graph to go down and stay going down. And then on the other end, what I want the other end to end up going up. And so I'm going to make another turn here to get that end up. And so what I have is I have 2 turns. Here's 1, here's 2. I have only one of those turns makes a relative maximum. And I have 1 real 0, and that meets all of my requirements. Okay, we can do one more example since we started a new video anyway. Cubic polynomial with 2 real zeros. Let's do this one. A cubic polynomial with 2 real zeros. Okay, so number 8 is similar to number 11. Okay, but this time I want 2 x-intercepts. And so what's going to happen here is I need to have 2 turns. And so if we talk about what's going to happen, if I start this off drawing this the same way as I did for the other one, right? So I have this turn here. What I'm going to notice is that I can't go through that point and then come back up, because if I were to do that, then I'd end up eventually having another x-intercept, right? So what I want to do is I want one of those real zeros, since it's a cubic polynomial, I want one of those real zeros to be what we learned about as that double root. So I'm going to let this one be my double root and have my graph pop back up. Okay, and so now I have 2 turns, 1, 2. And I have the left end goes up, the right end goes down. And there we go. There's my cubic polynomial with 2 real zeros. Now, could you have done it the other way? Sure. You could have gone and said, okay, let me go up and then have my double root over here, and that would have been fine too. Okay, so lots of options here. Just making sure that because there's only 2 unique real zeros, one of those, if I'm going to make it a cubic polynomial, one of those is going to end up being a double root. All right, that's it for today. I hope you have fun working through these polynomial graphs and these making sketches. And just kind of exploring polynomial functions a little bit more.